a cartoon has crossed a line when it's cited in a murder trial. That's what happened to 16-year-old Scott Dyleski, convicted of first-degree murder. Prosecutors argued he was fixated on a Nickelodeon episode, one that taught its audience all about organ harvesting. I'm talking about the Invader Zim episode, Dark Harvest. To this day, people call it the most psychologically scarring piece of kids' TV ever made. And honestly, they're probably right. Invader Zim. It's that show with the screaming, the chaos, the weird green alien who's terrible at his job. But this episode, it's not that. It switches tone completely. It gets quiet. It gets medical. And it goes straight into body horror so disturbing, they say test audiences of kids just cried. Even now, decades later, nothing else in animation feels quite this skin-crawling. What did they think they were doing? And why did it stick with us? And with some, in the worst way possible. Let's set the stage for you. Invader Zim, created by the brilliantly twisted mind of Jhonen Vasquez, the same guy behind comics like Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, premiered back in 2001. The show follows Zim, this incompetent but dangerously ambitious Urkan invader sent to conquer Earth as a banishment from his own leaders. He's disguised as a human kid attending school, with his robot sidekick Gur providing chaotic comic relief. Usually. But in Dark Harvest, Gur doesn't even appear. That's your first clue something's off. No goofy robot dog in a green suit to lighten the mood. This episode is all business. Dark, creepy business. The premise starts simple enough, but it spirals into something psychologically scarring so fast you'll wonder how this ever aired on kids' TV. It all kicks off in Miss Bitter's classroom, that shadowy snake-like teacher who embodies doom itself. She's droning on about the Black Plague, how Ring Around the Rosie is actually about horrible symptoms of a terrifying disease. Classic Zim vibe, right? Dark humor about historical horrors. Then a pigeon flies in and lands right on Zim's head. Cooing, nesting. Miss Bitter spots it and freaks out. "Zim, you have head pigeons! Get to the nurse, now!" Zim, being Zim, panics internally. He's an alien. No human organs, no squiddly spooch. Wait, actually Urkans do have something called a squiddly spooch. It's their version of internal guts. But the point is, he's not built like a human. A trip to the school nurse could expose him completely. Dib, Zim's arch nemesis, that big-headed, paranormal-obsessed kid, sees this as his golden opportunity. He taunts Zim relentlessly. "The nurse is gonna find out you're an alien. She's gonna see right through your disguise." So what does Zim do? He comes up with the most twisted, logical solution imaginable. To pass as a human, he needs actual human organs. Inside him. Literally. So the nurse thinks he's normal. Simple, right? Wrong. So wrong. What follows is Zim turning into a full-on predator stalking the halls of the school, harvesting organs from his classmates. Not killing them. Oh no, that might be too straightforward. He uses this creepy dome device from his pack, that backpack thing that's actually part of his body, to extract organs painlessly and instantly, then replaces them with random junk. A hall pass, a pencil, even cute little animals like squirrels or whatever he has on hand. The kids don't die, they just malfunction. Walking around dazed, moving like cows, foaming at the mouth. It's body horror dialed up to 11, but with this absurd Zim twist that somehow makes it even creepier. Zim lurking in the vents, spider-like legs extending from his pack, grinning maniacally as he drops down on unsuspecting kids. White flash, organ gone. He swallows them whole or transplants them into himself, bloating up more and more with each harvest. His body swells grotesquely, stuffed with stolen lungs, hearts, livers, spleens. He starts off skinny and alien, but by the end, he's this morbidly obese blob waddling around, organs shifting under his skin. And the sounds, the squelching, the bulging really brings it out. It's visceral without being gory. Cartoon style keeps it from showing blood, but your imagination fills in the blanks and that's what makes it stick. One of the standout scenes early on. Zim corners this random kid in the bathroom. The boy turns around, Zim activates the device, flash, and suddenly the kid's got a squirrel where his lungs should be. He coughs up acorns or something ridiculous. But then he just walks off, acting weird. No screams of agony or consequences of any type. The world keeps turning like this is normal. The school nurse's office turns to chaos, kids collapsing left and right with replaced organs, but no one connects the dots except Dib. Poor Dib. Desperately trying to warn everyone, he's dragging this massive auxiliary hall pass, a space eater, because the real hall monitor got harvested, and muttering, "Must warn others." He gets his hands on x-ray goggles delivered right on cue, because Dib's always prepared, peers into kids' bodies, and sees the madness. Hall passes where hearts should be, rubber pigs instead of livers. He confronts Zim in the cafeteria. "You're stealing organs. You're replacing them with junk." Zim doesn't even deny it. He's proud. "Yes, to make myself more human. Behold my human organs." And he bulges out, showing off his bloated form. Dib calls him a hideous, grotesque blob. And Zim chokes up a small intestine. Just hacks it right out onto the table. Casually. Like it's no big deal. That moment, iconic nightmare fuel. As Zim harvests more and more, the school descends into pandemonium. Kids mooing, foaming, collapsing. One girl replaced with something that makes her speak in backwards gibberish. The nurse is overwhelmed, examining bloated, malfunctioning children. And Zim, he's loving it. More organs means more human. He even targets Dib last, cornering him in the halls. Dib screams a big, "No!" realizing he's the only one left with his original parts. Zim lowers the dome. "Your lungs will complete me." I don't do a good Zim impression. Then flash. Dib's organs are gone, replaced with... who knows? Dib ends up in the nurse's office, mooing like a cow. And Zim, he waddles in, massively swollen, organs sloshing inside him. The nurse scans him. Perfectly healthy human boy. Zim wins. Completely. He passes the exam, exposes nothing, and gets away scot-free. Dib tries to point at him, but he... And the press swarms, declaring Dib a hideous mooing cyborg boy. Newspaper headline, "Hideous mooing cyborg boy found," with a photo of Dib looking monstrous. Downer ending, no justice. Zim victorious. The bad guy wins and the world is dumber for it. For a kids show in 2001, this was revolutionary. Nickelodeon tested it, and kids reportedly ran out crying. Parents complained about the disturbing content. It paved the way for darker cartoons today. Adventure Time, regular show, even Steven Universe has edgy moments. But back then, this was boundary pushing. Jhonen Vasquez slipped in adult-level horror under the radar of cartoon censorship. Even the paired episode Germs sets it up perfectly. Zim obsesses over human germs, scrubbing everything, seeing them as swarming monsters. That paranoia carries into Dark Harvest. Humans are filthy, inferior, but he needs their parts to blend in. It's thematic continuity that amps the creep factor. Fans love it because it's peak Zim, satirical, nihilistic, hilarious in its darkness. Quotes like Dib's pencil in the brain gag, "How far in? Pretty far." Or Zim clutching his squeedly spooch in pain. But mostly, it's unforgettable. People skipped it as kids, avoided rewatches. It inspired urban legends, even got controversially linked to real events, though that's overblown. Now here's where it gets even wilder, and a bit controversial. Years after the show ended, Dark Harvest popped up in a real-life murder trial, turning into this persistent urban legend. In 2005, a 16-year-old named Scott Dyleski from California brutally killed his neighbor, Pamela Vitale. He was convicted and got life without parole. During the trial, prosecutors brought up Dyleski's interest in dark themes, including comments he allegedly made about Dark Harvest. They claimed watching Zim steal and collect organs left him fascinated with body parts and curious about how bodies work without certain organs. It was used to paint a picture of his mindset. But, and this is important, the defense said those comments were jokes, made in jest. There was no evidence the episode directly motivated or inspired the crime. Dyleski had other issues, and the murder seemed tied to a burglary gone wrong, not a cartoon plot. Still, the story blew up online. Reddit threads, wikis, IMDb pages, often exaggerated as the episode inspired a murder, or even falsely linked to the show's cancellation, which happened in 2002, way before. In reality, it was just referenced in court as character evidence, not proven causation. Blaming media for violence is an old trope. Think video games or music. But it cemented Dark Harvest as notoriously disturbing, fueling myths that it's cursed or too scary for TV. All that said, the episode stands on its own as a masterclass in animated psychological horror. No jump scares needed, just a brilliantly executed, twisted idea that lingers. If you've never seen it, proceed with caution. Lights on recommended. If you have, yeah, those nightmares make sense now. What about you? Is Dark Harvest the creepiest Zim episode, or does something else top it? Have you heard the urban legend side of it before? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Did this one scar you too? Hit like if it did, subscribe for more dives into creepy classics and forgotten cartoon lore, and I'll see you next time.